Hello and welcome back to the Tarot Cottage. My name is Amy. I'm back today with a pick a card reading for you. A big welcome back to all of my beautiful returning subscribers. A special thank you to everyone who has been subscribed since the very beginning. A big thank you and welcome to everyone who has recently subscribed. And a welcome to everyone who is here for the very first time. Please join us. Pull up a chair, get cozy, and we're going to have a little chat. We're all friends when we gather here together. I do pick a card readings on this channel. I also want to offer congratulations to the person who won the free tarot reading this week. I offer a chance to win a free tarot reading for all of my subscribers who are dropping comments below my videos. So if you would like to be considered for a tarot reading, be sure to drop your comment below, hit your notification bell, your like button. It helps me to bring you guys more content, and I would just love to give back to you guys. So be sure to hit that notification bell though, because I have had a difficult time having my winners reach back out to me. If you are here for the very first time though, today's tarot reading is all about the deepest regrets that the person on your mind has concerning your connection. So that is the topic for today. We have 3 piles to choose from today. Pile number 1 here with the pink rose. Pile number 2 with the white flower. And pile number 3 with this dark pink flower. I'm not sure what it is. We have 3 piles to choose from. My timestamps are listed below. And again, today's topic is all about the deepest regrets the person on your mind has concerning you and this connection at this time. So maybe you're in connection with this person, but this could very likely be a no contact situation from the person on your mind. But whatever the scenario is, my timestamps are below. I'm going to jump right into pile number 1. What are their deepest regrets concerning you and this connection? Pile 1. Hello, pile 1. You were drawn to the beautiful pink little flower. And this is your card today. It says, appreciate this moment, 33. Every situation is an opportunity to grow and find love. And this card is very nostalgic. It really speaks to sort of lessons that were learned on the other side of awareness. You know, it's like we come to know the truth sometimes when it feels like it's too late, about opportunities that were fleeting in this connection. So that could be one of the basis of one of their regrets is letting opportunities pass them by and not appreciating the opportunity that they had in front of them, not realizing that it would end eventually. It's like they took you for granted, or they took the time spent with you a little bit for granted. So let's take a look here. Pardon my squeaky chair. It's a little squeaky today. What is their biggest regret for pile number 1? The biggest regrets that they had concerning pile 1 and this connection. We have the Wheel of Fortune. Part of the biggest regrets that's coming out first already for you, pile 1, is the suddenness of the change of scenery, like the suddenness of how things shifted and changed between the two of you in the past. It's like everything was constant until it really wasn't. And then there was this sudden turn of events and it was not in their favor. It may have been in your favor, but it wasn't in their favor. And that's kind of a weight that they carry too, because there was this intention. It's like I was holding up my coin, I was holding up my shot, I was going to shoot it, and I had all of this intention. And there was like opportunity sitting right in front of me and I took it for granted. It feels like they thought it would be around forever, the opportunity, because they felt an instant connection to you. And there was this almost this feeling of like, I feel like you're going to be around forever. And maybe you were around for a really long time, but forever doesn't, you know, forever. I just keep hearing forever and a day. Like that's all it takes is forever and a day. You have the Empress. Oh. And they're talking about being really ill-equipped to understand the lesson at the time. It's like I didn't even have the awareness available to me. I had no experience available to me to understand who you were and what this opportunity actually was in that moment, because they didn't appreciate you fully. And now in the present moment, here is the Empress. And the awareness in the present moment has completely shifted from just an opportunity in the past, you know, I'm on the fence about it, to this Empress energy. And then we have the 5 of Cups coming out sideways. Lots of regret coming in with the 5 of Cups. And that's what we're talking about today, pile 1, is the regrets, their deepest regrets when it comes to you. And they think about the friendship or there's like this aspect of flirtation in your connection. Maybe it wasn't even in a full-fledged relationship pattern in the past. Maybe it was a friendship, because they're reveling upon the opportunity that was lost It's like I spent too much time looking at the flirtation and not enough time investing in the relationship. And I just keep hearing it was the best time of my life. It's like that was the best time of their life comparatively to what they're experiencing right now. You represent that period of time. And here's the King of Pentacles. It could be a Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn. Back of the deck is the 10 of Pentacles. And we have the 6 of Wands. And there's the Moon. They keep saying if I'd just taken my masks off and expressed how I truly felt, we would be in a completely different situation right now. And they are talking about this feeling. There's a huge evolution jump from the Page of Pentacles to the King of Pentacles. So they have grown up. And with their growth, their practical growth has come their spiritual awareness, and the truth of the situation and the truth of the connection has hit them. And it's filled with so much regret. So much regret for you, Pile 1. Because I keep hearing Adele's, we could have had it all. We could have had it all. It just keeps on a loop in my mind. If I had not been so passive, we could have had it all. If I'd taken off my masks, we could have had it all. And there's deep regret in that unknown. There's deep regret in them suppressing how they truly feel about you because they kept pushing it down. Because the truth was actually there, available to them the whole time. And they just didn't. And that's why the awareness keeps being brought to the Appreciate This Moment card, because they now are coming to appreciate those moments more fully. The opportunity, the connection with you. It's very bittersweet, some of the revelations they've had during this regret. We have the Sun because they've seen the light. They've finally seen the light here. And we have the 4 of Swords and the 10 of Pentacles. And they were just saying, you know, I was going to plant that seed towards that abundance, towards the 10 of Pentacles. We could have grown together. We could have moved into a relationship cycle. We could have committed. We could have had it all together. You could be by my side at this moment, but I rested. And it's the reality that stings them now. That's why the 4 of Swords often has the separation for me between the 3 and the Ace, because this is the heartbreak. And this is what fueled the lesson, what prompted the lesson, and what's prompting their clarity in this moment is the heartbreak. And so it was necessary, perhaps, to have their epiphany, but the truth hurts now. Because you may have moved into a new cycle. They may have moved on to a new cycle, because I feel like it's been years for someone watching. Like it's been a long time since this evolution has happened. Which means they've not only evolved and matured, so have you. And the Empress is this epitome of abundance in every realm. We have the Fool. And they feel so silly. Like on the very base meaning of that card, they feel so silly. And it's kind of emotionally devastating, to be honest. It doesn't feel like just regret. It feels like deep remorse. Torment, even, to be honest. Like there's an aspect of just tormenting myself with the reality of I had the opportunity, I had everything sitting right in front of me, and the only job I had to do was tell you, was to be vulnerable, to say something, to bring clarity into the situation, to make a decision, because emotionally they knew what they wanted even then, but it was the fear factor. And there's a part of them that knows through this reflection and through this regret that they need to just release it and let it go and absorb the lesson and take sort of the hits with that lesson. But the regret is their constant companion, they said. It's their constant companion. And there's the Hierophant. Taurus, very strong element with this person. We also have the King of Cups. And there's the Emperor, still very thirsty for you, but having to turn his back on this emotion at this time because he has to focus on his responsibilities and the path that he did choose to walk into. And so sort of this remembrance of you and this nostalgia of you brings this person right back to a time and place where they were the Knight, where they were the Page, and when there was so much possibility and opportunity here, but they were passive. The King keeps being seated. This was a moment when they had full opportunity to express themselves to you. There was clearance. There was no practical concerns. They just had the freedom to act, and they didn't. And so now they understand the lesson fully. Their regret has hit them full force because now they're devastated at the reality of that loss because they're having to release it. They know they can't do anything about the past anymore. And they understand that coming towards you right now with this epiphany or this reality is very risky. And they don't want to create havoc for you. They don't want to create confusion for you, because they do care about you very deeply. This person cares very deeply about you. There's a lot of love wrapped up in the King of Cups. What is their biggest regret concerning pile 1, please? Remembrance. Resurfacing of past feelings and emotions. And number 21, the unfinished business here. The fact that they had a moment to appreciate, they had opportunity, and they just didn't risk. They didn't take that leap of faith. And that's what created the whole scenario, which created the disconnect. And so now they're flooded with nostalgia for you. And they're remembering the point that they made their mistake. It's like there was a benchmark of failure. They can pinpoint the moment that they lost the chance. And we have here the Temptress, seduction, deceit, and a broken promise. And I feel like now things have changed. We've moved into the Devil energy, into Capricorn. There is attachment here. This person's recognizing that they're a little bit addicted to thinking about you, because otherwise they would never ended up on this beach. And so they're acknowledging that their position does not allow wiggle room anymore, and it's too risky to come towards you. But they are tempted. They are tempted because they want to know the reformed version of you. They want to know how you've evolved as a person. But now they're apprehensive. They're just as apprehensive. That was the apprehension that stopped them. That's the regret they had. They regret their apprehension, and they're still apprehensive when it comes to taking action towards you. And now there's this idea of, I need to move out into the world. They're doubt, and they're fearful that they'll be able to release the connection, but they know that they probably should. Otherwise, they're going to be torturing themselves, perhaps perpetually. What are their deepest regrets, please, when it comes to pile number 1? I just wish that things were different, and they just wish that they had made a different decision that led up to the scenario that the two of you are experiencing right now. The truth is, they have so much desire for you that still exists despite the disconnect. And they just keep calling themselves a chicken. That's what I keep hearing, is a chicken. The truth is that they love you. Love is the answer. And they regret not telling you all of these things. And they feel really stuck in this regard too. There's a state of stuckness, of inertia with the 13 reverse. They don't even know if you're a part of this lesson. They don't even know if you're a part of this lesson. And we do have the Sex with You card coming out as well. But they're not sure that you are feeling the same force, if you're feeling the same regret that they're feeling. Because the Empress is sitting unbothered in the present moment, or at least what they're perceiving, or what they assume your situation involves now. They're assuming that you don't care as deeply as they do. We have the Ace of Swords, and we have the Strength. But the truth is, they're saying, the truth that hit them the biggest and the hardest, this Ace of Swords, which stings at this time, is the fact that they didn't have the courage to say that they wanted you to love them back, because they already had this feeling for you already present, already seated, and they just waited too long. They didn't appreciate what was sitting right in front of them, and they thought that the timing would last a lot longer. What is their biggest regret, please, when it comes to pile number 1? We have here the Bat. Take care, enemies are working against you. And we have the Tulip, great passion. Spiritual love between the two of you as well with the Tulip. But there's an aspect with the Bat of, the Bat often goes off of sonar, and they fly through the darkness. And so there's this aspect of them thinking that they had kind of given you hints and clues about how they felt, thinking that they'd put out feelers, and so they were just kind of waiting to get a nibble back from those feelers that they had put out. But they kept a very cautious approach when it came to you, because they didn't want to show how much they cared. Otherwise, it would have made them feel weak. We have Skull. Hidden secrets that can harm you. The reality of the transition and the grief that followed. The reality that hit hard once they realized what they had lost. And their mind has been a maze ever since. It's like they can't move on. We have involvement with the law and in help of in need of help, assistance, or guidance. They need a hand to be able to move on, to figure out clarity and freedom in a situation. But now the gavel here, that's the truth. The gavel's come down hard. It's like they've been the judge and jury for themselves and how they've acted or not acted towards you. And they've definitely found themselves wanting. And the lesson that has come full circle for them, pile one, is to appreciate you, to appreciate the moments that speak to them, to appreciate the connections that speak to them so profoundly, and to walk through those gateways, to face what will happen, whether it be a rejection or whether it be not. At least they would have left no stone unturned and they wouldn't be in the situation that they're in. We do have fair woman dealings or relationship with a woman with blonde, gray, or white hair. So you may be a very fair person at this time. Let's get a couple more message cards here. What are their deepest regrets when it comes to pile number one, please? It says, I want to marry you someday. And are these feelings mutual? Because it's like they already had this intention. They already could see it going so far in the past. It's like they anticipated every single step you would take it through life together during these fantasies in the past. But they weren't 100% sure if it was mutual. And they really regret not seeking clarity on that, because they were worried it would be all one-sided. I don't feel like it was. Just going through the motions in life right now. You intimidate me and you always have. And do you even remember me? Because they wonder if this moment of connection was just one-sided. That's what they tell themselves to placate this desire to take leaps of faith towards you. It's like they tell themselves that so they won't take that leap. I'm confused. I don't know how you feel. And they regret not clearing up that confusion. And you are on my mind every single day. They still think about you all of the time, and they wish that they could just be more than friends. That's the biggest regret. I wanted to be more than friends, and I think about that last day, that benchmark, so much and so often, pile one. I almost feel like I could cry with this person. They're very sad, very remorseful here. Let's end with a charm bowl for you, pile one. What is the last thought that your person had about you? The last thoughts of regret that they had about pile one in the bowl. We have the 10 of Cups. We have the 3 of Swords. Very sad thoughts, to be honest. Disappointment, separation. There could be other people involved at this time that complicate things. And there's the Star. Now, when we turn everything in the bowl like this, there's this aspect of the 10 of Cups reversed. So not bringing things to the surface, not bringing clarity to light at this time, because they could be worried about foreclosures in the home. They could be worried about arguments, conflicts within their responsibilities at this time. And so their focus right now is on another element or another relationship, perhaps, maybe building coin for themselves. But they do think about you all the time. And honestly, the lessons, the connection between the two of you has not gone to waste. You continue to be an influence on this person. And the last thought that they had about you definitely was a limiting thought about sadness, about disappointment in themselves for not being more vulnerable. In the charm bowl today, pile one, you have the letters K and T and S. You also have a connection written in the stars here. For the Divine Masculine, he definitely feels like this connection was written in the stars. We do have the Divine Feminine healing though as well. So I feel like as much as they thought it wasn't mutual, it definitely felt like a healing cycle for you that you had to heal from this lost opportunity, this lost connection. We have Believe. Again, the heart space of the Divine Feminine. We have a wrench in our plans now because there are complications in place, perhaps practical complications. We have the Butterfly of Transformation. They're also having a difficult time having a breakthrough of release and being able to move on and move forward from this connection and even move forward with the epiphanies. And then we have a commandment from the Bible that says, "Thou shalt not take the name of thy Lord thy God in vain." Pile one, that is what I have for you today. I hope that it resonates with you. If it did, I would love to hear your story below in the comment section, and I would love for you to join our beautiful soul family here by subscribing if you're not already subscribed. Hit your notification bell, your like button, drop me your comments so that I can enter you in for a chance to win a free reading with me, and check out my links below for Instagram because I often offer a chance to win a free mini read over there, and I have my link for Etsy for personal reading if you are interested. But I hope you come and visit me on another day at the Tarot Cottage, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Hello, pile number 2. You were drawn to the white flower. Or to this card from the Whispers of Love Oracle. It says, choose love. You always have a choice. Make yours with love, number 21. And this is your reading about the biggest regrets that the person on your mind has regarding you and this connection. The choose love, number 21, is talking about unfinished business that this person perceives that the two of you have. And it talks about a choice that they may have made. They're really regretting a certain choice that they made. It could have been a choice between people, but just choices in regards to your connection. So we're going to take a deeper look into that. So let's see. What is pile 2's person's deepest regrets when it comes to this connection and pile 2 at this time? What are their deepest regrets when it comes to this connection? Ooh, the Four of Wands reversed. We also have here the Nine of Swords, and we have the Two of Swords. Oh my goodness, we're going to have to keep those, even though they feel kind of sad. But that's what we're dealing with today. We're dealing with their deepest regrets. We have the Page of Pentacles. That's interesting because the page came out in that exact position in pile 1. So there may be a message waiting for you there. But what does pile 2's person regret the most about this connection? We have the Fool coming out. Knight of Coins, the Tower, and the High Priestess. There's a lot going on here, and it is very reminiscent of pile 1, actually, because there's an emphasis on the risks that we didn't take and the unfinished business that still exists here. They had a choice to make, and they maybe didn't make it in time. They overthought the situation. They were way too passive when it comes to you. That's definitely coming out because they say that it could have changed everything, but they were almost afraid of that. It's like, be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. It could have changed absolutely everything. And they were sitting on all the information, right? They were sitting on the information they knew to be true. They should have released it to you. They should have revealed how they truly felt. And they've definitely had an epiphany since then about you. Page of Cups. Their biggest regrets, please. But they didn't follow their intuition and they didn't hear it at the time. It's like they were too focused on their own situation. They were too focused on themselves in the past and not focused enough on the spiritual inclinations that their higher self was trying to impose upon them, because their higher self was trying to give them clues of, oh, this person has potential. This person can make you happy. This person makes you happy. Maybe you should act upon it. But they just kept blocking that out, turning their back on the emotion that they were feeling for you, because it was just easier for them to pretend perhaps like they didn't care, or that it wasn't a big deal, or it wasn't the opportunity that it really should have been. It's a lot easier for them to just sort of skirt away from it than to face their emotion and then act upon it. And they made a choice, but they didn't make it with love. That's the thing. They made a choice, and now it's like, I made my bed and now I'm lying in that epiphany. I'm lying in that reality. We have the Wheel of Fortune and we have the Empress. Very similar energies here to pile 1, I have to say. The Empress definitely made an appearance. The Wheel of Fortune made an appearance as well. So there's an aspect here of an overhauling sort of collective energy coming through here with regret. You can be a water sign, a Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. You don't have to be, but there's an emphasis on your beautiful heart and your intuition and your ability to connect to spirit. And the fact is that part of their biggest regret with the Nine of Swords, the Two of Swords, in connection with the Four of Wands reverse, was that they were just afraid of the cause and effect of their truth. They were just afraid to walk through that doorway. And they may have even caused like an argument, or there could have been like a bit of a mini blow up or something that disconnected the two of you, because they may have acted intentionally passive towards you, or they just may have been very apathetic towards you. This was an evidence of their inner insecurity and their overthinking. It wasn't an evidence even of how they truly felt. And so there's an apology coming through, even of regrets coming in because of some of the things they even said. Perhaps even in an argument, they really regret something that they said to you specifically that gave you the impression that they didn't see the connection. Because you're intuitive, you may have brought that to their attention of like, maybe there's something here, and they may have shut you down, and they're really regretting a conversation they had with you or something that they physically said to you, because it was a representation of truth based in fear. Not a truth that they, not a decision that they made in love. It was a decision that they made based in fear. So whatever they said to you that was hurtful, or any actions that they contributed to in your situation that was hurtful, they want you to know that the choice that they made, they knew they were making the wrong choice. It felt like a deliberate action of self-preservation, but they also want you to know that it wasn't your fault. It was all because of their own fear, their own insecurity, because there's an aspect of them knowing they should have been more generous with you, and actually feeling the connection the way that you felt it too. This is like, there's innocence surrounding this connection. You may have gone to school or come of age with this person in some sort of way. And the fact is that they're really regretful that they weren't more generous with you emotionally. There's a real, and I got really emotional with pile 1. I'm feeling emotional in this one as well. But there's an aspect of not being generous enough with you, especially generous enough and kind enough with your heart, because whatever they said to you, they feel like it burned. Because as soon as I look down at her, it almost looks like she's wearing little oven mitts. So whatever they said to you, they feel like they hurt you, and they really regret that. We have the 6 of Wands. Because they were just trying to hide the truth of how highly they actually thought of you. Even the horse, which is a symbol of freedom of choice, it's like, I didn't make the right decision. Even the horse is looking back at his rider saying, what did you just say? Or what did you just do? What did you just communicate? Because even the horse is looking back saying, you're wearing masks here. You're not being the truth version of yourself. So you're giving way to fear. Instead of choosing love, you're choosing fear. And it took them some time, to be honest with you, to allow this epiphany to come in. This person didn't just lose you one day and the next day be like, oh crap, I lost them. It took them maybe even a couple of years to truly have that epiphany, and not even to have the epiphany because they were already sitting on that information, but to let the epiphany through, to actually give it attention. And there's the Lovers, Gemini. There's this regret of not being as vulnerable as you were, because I feel like you were very vulnerable in this connection in the past and they didn't match it. And so there's this aspect of, again, decision and feeling very foolish about the choices that they made, because your card that you started with was in connection with the Wheel of Fortune, which is this deep connection that this person actually felt with you. We have the 4 of Wands, we have the 6 of Cups, we have the Lovers. Deep connection that they felt, that they turned their back on that truth. And they had a choice to make, but the choice seemed risky. And they didn't choose love, they chose fear. And which has brought the two of you perhaps into disconnect. And that's the big lesson that they've learned that has come full circle, is that in order to achieve success, you have to leap. You have to take that leap. And now, since they've had that epiphany, the awareness of what has kind of lost them, the opportunity that's been lost, they can't avoid it. It's like thoughts of you are their constant companion. Now, the difference between pile 1 and pile 2 here is the fact that this person is still ego-centered enough to think that there's still a chance with you, whether they're right or wrong. That's what they believe. And they are contemplating taking action upon this epiphany. It took them a long time to kind of build it up. They're insecure about taking action, but they're also possessive enough over you and over the revelation of like, oh, you were a soulmate. Oh, you were the person that could have built a life with me. You could have made my life so much better. But I was silly enough that I didn't choose that option for myself. And so now that they've had that epiphany, they're thinking about reaching out to you. And there's a pressure building for them to do that, to be honest. So you may find that this person will pop up out of the blue. That won't be for everyone, but for someone, that person might pop up out of the blue when you least expect it, with an epiphany or with their truth, hopefully with some vulnerability that they didn't show you in the past here. We have the 2 of Swords and we have the Ace of Cups. Now, that message of them coming forward is not for everyone, but there is definitely this urge coming forward. Some of them are being very passive and turning their back on that emotion at this moment. But that's exactly the problem. That's what brought them into this situation in the first place, was turning their back on their emotion, not choosing with love, but instead executing every decision when it came to your connection in a state of fear. And so now they either have to act upon this epiphany or kind of take the lumps that they've kind of created for themselves. But they are considering reaching out to you at this time too. And that's something that was different from pile 1. So what would you deepest regrets for pile number 2, please? The yin yang. Creating harmony through balance, number 40. And there's such an emphasis on 4, on the 4s of pausing before action, having a decision to make, and making the wrong choice. Making the choice because I was trying to take the path of least resistance instead of taking a path that would challenge myself to step outside of my comfort zone. But that's the only way that we can grow. You know, we grow, you know, flowers grow after it rains. We push ourselves through fear blocks in order to achieve ascension in every element. Even if we're going to the gym to build more muscle, we have to tear down some of those muscles first. We have to, you know, we have to put ourselves through some discomfort in order to gain more muscle. And there's just one of their biggest epiphanies and regrets is the fact that they've realized, oh my gosh, this is a twin flame, soulmate, whatever their definition is of this connection, they think it's very special between the two of you. And we have intuitive communication, silent whispers of the heart, number 43. There's this aspect of an intuitive communication, a spiritual communication that still exists. So they still have conversations with you in their head. You may find that as well, that there may have been a big separation here, and maybe even for years, but that dialogue between the two of you has not stopped. It's like the dialogue between, you may have never seen each other for years. Maybe you haven't contacted physically with each other for years, but that dialogue has never stopped. And they are suffering loss, sadness, and resurrection. But that's the emphasis on this pile for you, pile 2, is resurrection. What's your biggest regret for pile 2, please? We have here the chain of events that affects their life. It was the chain of insecurity that stopped them from leaping, but now this chain is kind of taken on a different form. And I just saw like Bob Marley, you know, the chains we forged in life, they're dragging them behind them now. We have the tulip, great passion, spiritual connection. We have love reversed, and we have temptation will test you. And in this case, the love, that's what I mean. They wish that they had chosen love for you, pile 2, but it's reversed because they didn't. And I'm looking at this daisy because there's this emphasis of like, they love me not. They love me not. They left you feeling so uncertain, and they were too fearful and tempted to maintain their security by their ego to take that risk. And now we have the bear. It says danger, especially in money matters, but it's not necessarily about money matters. It's about the practical steps. It's about your perception now. Have they lost the love of the Queen of Cups? Because she puts a lid on it. So if they lose that love, if she's turned into the Queen of Swords, which the bear really represents, or the Queen of Pentacles, then that means that that love doesn't exist in the same capacity. And that's a huge worry for this person now too, because they're still ego-centered enough that they think that this connection is real and strong and solid between the two of you, and that you do feel that same way. But part of them questions, have I lost the love of this queen because I have ignored her in lieu of my own security? What is their biggest regret, please, when it comes to pile number 2? I'm speaking through songs. And there's that intuitive communication. It's like they hear a song, they think of you. And they wonder if they're conjuring that up because they'll be thinking about you, and then a song will come on the radio with your name, or it reminds them of you. I regret walking away from you. I do talk about you, and I feel like they talk to you. It's like this, they're continuing the dialogue. They talk to themselves when it comes to you. You may find that you do that too. I really do miss you a lot. And I've looked into tarot readings. Back of the deck says, I don't want to be with anyone else. We also have here, don't focus on who wants me because I want you. So even if there's attachments here, this person still thinks about reaching out because they're still trying to decide whether or not they should make that choice now. They didn't make the choice of love in the past, but now they could have perhaps still a decision to make when it comes to contacting you, bridging a gap. They're feeling the pressure to communicate, but they still have that decision to make. And so they still have to grapple with the same lesson that they avoided. Because when we avoid lessons, they don't just disappear. They just kind of, they can change shape a little bit, but they just kind of follow us around. Let's get some message cards here. What are their deepest regrets when it comes to pile number 2? I can't decide what to do. And that was their regret in the past too. They kept saying that to themselves. I can't decide what to do. But that's the thing, is that it's not that they couldn't decide what to do. It's that they couldn't decide how to apply that force. They couldn't decide between fear and love. Even in a crowded room, I am lonely for you. Mirrored soul paths as well. So the path that you took in life and the path that they took may be very similar in nature, which is why they don't quite understand why they didn't just choose the path with you, why they felt so conflicted. Because you were the prompt to this huge lesson for them. Somehow I'm going to make this happen. They've had this epiphany, but they're scared of your temper. They're scared of what impression you've been left with and how you have evolved in your feelings for them at this time too. I want to move into a beautiful future with you, if that was a possibility. But I surrender to what will be. And I've been pushing my feelings aside. And I feel like they did that in the past too. Right now, back of deck, it says, I am holding myself back. And they're feeling that, they're feeling the pressure to communicate. They're feeling the pressure to bridge a gap. For some, they'd even have to perhaps travel to you because there's a huge gap between you, even geographically. But they're trying to hold themselves back from taking action towards you. Let's get a charm bowl for you, pile number 2. What is the very last thought that your person with regrets had when it came to you, pile 2? Very last thought that they had concerning their regrets. Whoops. On the floor. Almost fell over my chair. We have the King of Cups reversed. Giving you the impression that they did not care, or that your feelings were not mirrored, because the Queen of Cups is here too. There's a definite, there's so much connection in your reading, pile 2. There's so many cards of connection, spiritual connection. And they were really regretting not expressing how they truly felt, because the King of Cups truly is the most emotional of all the kings. And they were really afraid that they didn't have the courage or the confidence to unveil their truth, because that's truly what they wanted to express to you, was this desire, this love. But they felt like it was a weakness, and they didn't want to appear weak. And so now their focus is still on you, but they're lacking a little bit of confidence to bring their truth forward. In the bowl today, we have the tooth. We have the letter L. That's one of our only letters today. But we do have the tooth, which brought my attention right away, which is a fear of loss, and someone who's dreaming about that. It's like something that they've lost in their life. There's a lot of remorse surrounding that. We have the screwdriver. I often think with the screwdriver about driving a point home in a painful way. Also thinking about work elements. We have reunions with the pineapple. And there's a sexual undertone to the pineapple. We also have the angels. I also often think of children with that charm. We have the leaf of change, somebody who wants change. And we have the 4-leaf clover for the divine masculine. They think that luck is on their side potentially if they were to reach out to you, but there's an aspect of concern about that. We have the divine mercy here. So Catholic connection, or just wanting mercy, wanting forgiveness from you. We have the rabbit. One of the biggest regrets, because the rabbit was reversed, is not having the courage to explore this connection further. There's the Leo energy. We have the guitar, wanting to sing something or express something. We have yin yang again here, infinity, and we have the butterfly of transformation. And ultimately the butterfly of transformation is about the epiphanies that they've had and wishing that they could take this connection to a different level as well. Oops. All right, pile number 2, that's what I have for you today. I hope that it resonates with you. If it did, please be sure to drop your comment below if you're interested in being entered for a chance to win a free reading with me. You can also check out my links for Etsy for a personal reading, or for Instagram. On Instagram, I will sometimes put up a chance to win a free mini read, so be sure to check out that link as well. But I do hope that you come back and visit with me at the Tarot Cottage, and I hope you have a great day. Hello, pile number 3. You were drawn to the pink flower. And this is your reading. What is the person on your mind's deepest regrets when it comes to you and your connection? This is from the Whispers of Love Oracle, and it says physical touch. A tender touch can mean so much. It's number 47. And so there's this aspect of speaking the truth or doing something physical with you. There's this feeling with this card about one moment between the two of you could have changed everything. One physical touch and one sort of, it's like if they would just shot their shot once or even just kissed you once, it could have changed absolutely everything. It's also speaking to sort of the moment where they felt the connection deeply. It's like literally your hand brushing up against them could have sent like electricity through them at that time. So let's take a look and see. Chair's a little squeaky today, so bear with me. What is pile 3's person's biggest regret? Could be that part of their biggest regret is concerning physical touch with you and just taking it to a new level. So let's see. What is their biggest regret when it comes to pile number 3, please? We have the High Priestess. The Ace of Swords. The Tower. The Three of Pentacles, because they feel like they've spent a long time building up a foundation with you. It's like building something up. There was like, it's like an obvious path that was going to lead us to something more. It's like there was these expectations of like, of course we're going to move into a relationship cycle. Of course we're going to move into something, because they feel like they spent a lot of time building a foundation with you. We have the Queen of Pentacles reversed. But you can see she's sitting here with her hands on her hips too, waiting as she's in the reverse position. And so there's this aspect of never getting the security that you wanted, never giving you the security that you were looking for, them never experiencing the security and the connection either. And so there's an aspect of regret surrounding that too, but something that could have changed everything. And they were waiting perhaps too long to take that action, because there's an element here with the Ace of Swords with this scythe about what was possible if they just said one thing. If they had just literally said one truth that they were sitting upon, then there would have been a huge rebirth. They would have closed off one cycle. We would have opened up a new one. Back of the deck is the Ace of Cups. And we have the Devil, Capricorn. Very strong Capricorn element here with the Queen of Pentacles. But let's get a different deck here. Shall use the traditional Rider-Waite. What is their biggest regret, please, when it comes to pile number 3? And there is an aspect of the Devil here with the Nine of Cups. It's like they had a fantasy about you in a physical sense, but they let their insecurity kind of hold back. They were afraid of turning that chapter. They were afraid of the physical touch in a sense, but they were also drawn to it at the same time, because they knew that if something physical happened between the two of you, that would be it. That would be over for both of you. There would be a foundation formed. You guys would end up getting married and having, like, it'd just be it for you. And so they perhaps regret not taking that action. They were perhaps fearful of that. The Queen of Pentacles. A very strong emphasis on earth energy here. Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. And the fact that the High Priestess is supported by this Queen of Pentacles, she's this epitome of fertility and the possibilities and attraction. And they were so physically attracted to you. But there's this sense of the two of you having built a very long rapport. It's like you grew up together, you knew each other for a really long time. And the longer we go in one realm, if we're in a friendship realm, for instance, the longer we're in that realm, the harder it is for us to wiggle ourselves out of it. The Nine of Swords. And it wasn't that they didn't think about taking action, it's that they overthought a lot. They were overthinking. They became almost obsessive, to be honest, a little bit obsessive over the situation. It almost became a habit of them to fantasize about you in a physical sense. but that didn't fuel them with confidence. Because the overthinking means that they're thinking about things from every single angle, which means that they weren't just thinking about you in a physical sense, but they were also worrying about the consequences of that, worrying about everything changing. But the truth is that they were fearing change, and change is exactly what they needed. And truly, if they were honest with themselves at that moment, it was the change that they wanted with your connection, but they were afraid of the physical touch. But they were also drawn to it because they were afraid that it would change everything. But now they've come to the realization that that's exactly what they wanted, was for everything to change. We have the 8 of Wands. And we have the 4 of Cups. There is an aspect here too of them thinking that they left you feeling overlooked, or feeling like they didn't care, or feeling like you weren't prioritized in that moment. There's an aspect of that, of them worrying the impression that they left you with. Because now they realize they should have just taken action. They should have just taken action. They should have led from their intuition and reached out in a physical way, even in communication or physically speaking, but to say or do something to communicate that they wanted you more than the dynamic in which they knew you. Whether it be a friendship, again, there is almost a work connection here for me, for someone, not for everyone. And we have the Judgment. And here's the Tower. The Tower keeps coming out for this reading, and for not just this reading, but just all 3 piles today. The Tower and the Justice. And you guys started with the physical touch. A tender touch can mean so much. There's this aspect of one truth, one action, one moment where we walked through the truth of the situation with the justice. There's 2 pillars of truth. We have to face the cause and effect of our truth once we do that. And if they had just done that, it would have changed everything. One physical touch, one physical action could have changed everything. And that's their biggest regret. Of overthinking it, of not letting it happen, of perhaps even stopping it from happening sometimes, making you feel overlooked, or every time it sort of got close to that foundation, perhaps pushing you a bit away. Doing things, saying things, pulling back, pushing you away, making you confused, making you second guess your position in that connection. And then ultimately they're worried about that still. I almost feel like for someone watching, this has affected your person or you in a physical sense. It's like you, there's an aspect of really a lot of worry or something. Just the Queen of Pentacles reverse, I'm just feeling like a sick energy. It's like sometimes the waves of emotion overwhelm us in a physical sense. So please take that as it resonates. But the Judgment is all about how the past makes them feel really vulnerable. When they think about, it's like when they think about the actions or the inactions that they took, they squirm a little bit, to be honest. They feel really uncomfortable with the fact that they didn't, that they pulled away from you, that they just didn't give in, that they overthought the situation so much. Oh, and there's the 9 of Cups, because the truth is that you were honestly too good for them. I keep saying you were too good for me. You were up on this pedestal. And I still wish about you. What is their biggest regret, please, when it comes? Lost love, surrender, healing, and release. And they're working on it. It's like they're trying to work on that release. They're trying to work on moving past this epiphany and moving back into a cycle where they can gain closure in the situation. But they really let the fear of the unknown suppress the opportunity and the potential. And we have remembrance, resurfacing of past feelings and emotions. This one came out earlier as well, number 21. Your card here was number 47. And so that's the number 11, it's the Justice. So Libra energy is very profound with this person as well, or perhaps with you. But they are flooded with nostalgic memories when it comes to you. And they can't seem to stop. It's like a floodgate has opened since they've had this epiphany. The floodgates have opened and they can't seem to stop that from happening. They feel kind of helpless. But I also feel like they feel helpless to create change because of the Divine Feminine's position at this time. On the back of the deck, we have Tree of Life, fertility, creativity, destiny, and magical blessings. And truthfully, they really think that one physical touch, one action, one truthfulness, one proclamation of clarity could have resulted in this tree. That was the seed that should have been planted. And now they're really kicking themselves because they didn't plant it. What is the biggest regret that pile 3's person has about pile number 3. That they wore masks and they were just too afraid to look bad when it comes to you. Acting confident, acting unbothered, acting perhaps even putting their head in the sand when it comes to your attraction or your advances. I want to give you just as much as you give me. And they regret not doing that for you. Because they left you with the impression that perhaps they weren't interested. It's like they kept pulling you in and pushing you away. I wish that I'd made better choices with you. And I'd brought to light the truth of how I felt, because the Lover's energy prioritizes sort of looking at things from every angle. And so that's what sort of created this epiphany for them. They could have gone through a cycle where they really sort of played a blame game, where it went back and forth between yourself and themselves. They just kept kind of throwing it back and forth about whose fault is it that we're in this situation at this moment. We have here, I was so unfair to you because I didn't speak my truth. And they regret being unfair to you and giving you the impression that they did not care. And I'm scared now to face you. The truth is I walked away to find myself, and then they found themselves and they realized I should have ran after you. They walked away and then they realized they should have ran after you. And there's a lot of deep regret when it comes to that revelation. Let's get a couple of, what are their deepest regrets, please, when it comes to pile 3? Shark, take care. There will be loss of material wealth. And when I think about the shark, I think about the eyes of the shark and how, you can't really see the sentience behind that being. There's a coldness to them. And so they felt like they were cold to you, or they may have like blocked you or pushed you away. And this could have been a cycle that you found yourselves in with this person. Because there's an aspect of like going around in circles. We have January being significant, Capricorn. We have clouds, temporary problems. And so there's this aspect of like, they were only clouded for a little while. They eventually had that epiphany. And that epiphany was building up in pressure for a while for this person. We have basket, recognition, and reward for merit. And now they're wondering what could have been filled in that basket. They're wondering what the two of you could have placed in that basket. And we have broken bridge, unsuccessful outcome to a problem. And rooster, reversed. It says an arrogant, boastful person you should not cross. It's reversed. And there's an aspect here with the rooster. It's, of course, it's like it's a hen or it's a chicken. So there's an aspect of fear associated with the situation, but they gave you the impression that they were arrogant, or they gave you the impression that they were apathetic, or you weren't a priority. And the truth is that it was all about ego for them. They were just fearful of being expansive and fearful of being vulnerable with you. We even have scissors on the back of the deck, which is like the Two of Swords, of somebody who's being very passive because they're protecting themselves, and they're regretting having those blinders on and not recognizing that they needed that connection. It wasn't perhaps what they thought they wanted in the moment, but that was them lying to themselves and just giving way to fear, and it's what they perhaps needed to have these epiphanies and these breakthroughs. And they really are regretting being so passive towards you. Let's get some message cards here. What is their biggest regret when it comes to pile number 3? The cat and mouse game, the back and forth, giving you the impression that you weren't a priority, that they didn't care, that it wasn't a big deal to them, or that they weren't that into you. Because the truth is that they care. Your laugh is their favorite sound in the world. You might have a very unique laugh. It could be loud or just a very unique laugh. Missing you is coming in waves, and tonight I am drowning. And I need to talk to you. It's like I need to tell you that you weren't the problem, that it was me. That's what they want to prioritize, is the fact that you were not the problem, that they were the problem. You see right through me. And you would never guess that I still think of you, because they're still wearing those masks in their present realm. So if they've moved into another commitment cycle, because this reading is for the collective. So I have a lot of different elements of flowing in, a lot of different energies. So if certain aspects of the reading don't resonate with you, it doesn't mean that all the messages aren't for you. Spirit has a way of making sure you hear the messages that are meant for you. What do you want from me? It's like what they want to know what your expectations are. If you even want an apology or if you're even interested in that. We have home is wherever you are. Back of the deck says, I have learned so much through this separation. And that's, you know, that's the positive aspect of regret, I suppose, is being able to have the full awareness, the full spectrum coming in so that the lesson does not go unlearned. So at least it doesn't go to waste. Let's get a charm pull for you, pile number 3. What was the last thought that pile 3's person had about pile 3 and the regrets that they have? 10 of Pentacles reversed. Page of Wands reversed. And the 8 of Cups. They regret walking away. They regret not following their intuition to explore this path with you. And it's like they're mourning everything that could have been. And that's expansive, you know, the unknown, everything that we dream up in the unknown, we can just fill it with whatever we want. And they're mourning that. They're mourning the loss of what could have been. They also feel like they did learn a lot from that experience, though, that has helped them and empowered them. We have here forever. It's a half a puzzle piece. It's a half of a forever friends ring. So there's an aspect of connection that will never be broken. We do have the divine feminine stiletto. So it's about rising above the situation. And it truly is a reflection that even though this person made you, or perhaps thought that they made you feel like you weren't good enough, the divine feminine keeps being brought forward as the Queen of Pentacles. And she embodies all the beautiful elements of the other queens. She's intelligent, she's kind, she's creative, she's secure in her position, she's attractive. And so Spirit just doesn't want you to embody anything that this person did that made you feel insecure. It doesn't hold a candle to the truth of you. We have here just be, and we have Saint Anthony here. He's holding baby Jesus in his arms, so Anthony could be a very important name for this connection. But Saint Anthony was the patron saint of lost things, so someone feels regretful that they lost you, and they're blaming their inner child a little bit. They're blaming the pain of the inner child. We have the whale tail of expansion, of surrender, and it's the purple whale. I think about royalty, and I think about moving into awareness. We have the divine feminine moving forward and surrendering to change. And we have a forget-me-not. This person does not want to be forgot. We have the Pisces energy and the leaf of change. And we do have the temptation of the siren, of the mermaid in the bowl here. So there's an aspect of temptation and choices that they have to make in the present moment when it comes to the epiphanies surrounding you. So you or your person may have moved into a commitment cycle. So take that as it resonates. And we have the piano, the baby grand piano. All right, pile 3, that's what I have for you today. I hope that it resonates. And if it does, please drop your comment below so that I can enter you in for a chance to win a free reading with me. You can also check out my links below for Etsy for a personal reading and for Instagram. But I really hope that you come back and visit me on another day at the Tarot Cottage, and I hope that you have a beautiful day.